Welcome to Foundations of Language Lesson 2, Reading Science. In this video, we will explore the four-part processing model for decoding. As we heard in the video, Stanislaw Dehaene tells us that reading is not a natural process, that in fact, we are not born with a reading center in our brain. We need to build reading networks to become efficient readers. From numerous scientific studies, researchers have recognized four main areas of the brain that are associated with reading. Near the front of the brain, there is one area that is dedicated to speech-sound awareness, labeled the phonological processor. This part processes and breaks down spoken language into its smallest parts. Then there's the orthographic processor near the back of the brain image. This part is responsible for perceiving letters, letter patterns, and the forms of printed words. The part of the brain that is between these two areas acts as a bridge between the phonological and orthographic processors and is responsible for forming the sound-symbol associations. This is the area where we need to build new networks. As we make these letter-sound connections, the pathway begins to form and strengthens as we become proficient with our letter-sound knowledge. Finally, we have the language comprehension area of the brain that contains the context and meaning processors that connect meaning to the visual and auditory representations of the words we lift from the page. When we look at the brain image and look at the four-part processing model for word recognition side by side, we begin to see how these processors in the brain are connected to the four-part processing model first described by Seidenberg and McClelland in 1989. The model represents the different areas of the brain and how they pertain to word recognition. The model was developed to explain more simply the processes happening in the brain when we decode words. Let's go through the process step by step. Take a look at the word printed in the gray box on the left-hand side of the screen. First, the orthographic processor perceives the letters and the letter patterns in the word. Through our brain's knowledge of letter-sound correspondences, the phonological processor assigns phonemes to each letter or letter pattern and then blends them to create a pronunciation of the written word. In this case, two pronunciations are possible, bow and bow. This is the first step in reading, decoding. Once the brain has created an auditory pronunciation of the word, the oral language comprehension area of the brain begins its work. The meaning processor then retrieves all the stored meanings connected to the pronunciations of the word. In this situation, meaning still cannot be made unless the context processor kicks in. The context processor analyzes the words or context surrounding our target word and finally allows us to make meaning from the word printed on the page. So in essence, the idea that the brain uses meaning, structure, and visual information is not wrong. But what it does show us is that the brain must first process the visual information before using contextual information to verify the accuracy and fit of the word in the sentence. Contextual analysis should not be relied upon to identify the word in the first place. Thank you for viewing this short video explaining the reading brain in the four-part processing model.